I'm Pastor Stephen Smith. I'm with Christian Leadership Partners. We provide leadership solutions for both profit and nonprofit organizations for coaching, teaching, and mentoring. What we want to do is we want to provide you with the tools necessary to make your organization successful. Now, you may already be a fantastic leader, but take a look at some of the tools at christianleadershippartners.org and see if maybe we don't have a tool that might be able to make you just a little bit better. Or maybe it's something that you can use to improve your leadership skills for your subordinate leaders. What we want to do is provide you with a free 30-day coaching session that helps you to take a look at the leadership skills and attributes of the kings of Israel. These kings of Israel provide us a great opportunity to see what good leadership looks like and what bad leadership looks like. And if we can identify that, then we can become that much better. The second thing that it allows us to do is it allows us to take a historical look at the way that the kings of Israel led. They led with purpose, direction, motivation. They went out and they prepared, they planned, and they executed. But the best thing about all of this is we can see the results of their leadership skills. And if I can see the results of someone else's skills, then I can refine my own leadership skills so that I can be successful as well. Now, the third reason why we're using the kings of Israel is to compare them all to the one true king of Israel, Jesus Christ. Now, Jesus Christ, in the last couple of days, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what servant leadership is really all about. Servant leadership is extraordinarily important in today's society because of just the way that all of our subordinates are. Servant leadership allows us to be able to accomplish the mission, but it also enables us to be able to take care of those underneath us. What we found is that as people underneath us are successful, then what happens is that the organization becomes successful as well. And if a leader can facilitate that, then that's what servant leadership is really all about. So looking at these three different examples from the kings of Israel, then what we can do is we can take all of these, put these together, and we can become better leaders. So what we want to do today is we're going to take a look at King Jeroboam II. He led for quite a long period of time in the northern kingdom, and what he did was God used him even though he was an evil king. Let's take a look at what the Bible says. This is 2 Kings 14, 23 and 24. It says, Jeroboam II, the son of Joash, became the ruler over Israel in the 15th year of King Amaziah's reign in Judah. Jeroboam reigned in Samaria 41 years. He did what was evil in the Lord's sight. He refused to turn from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, had led Israel to commit. So we can see that although he was a good leader, he didn't follow along with what God wanted him to do. So he still reigned for 41 years, and God had given a promise to his grandfather that there would be 4 generations of his descendants on the throne because he got rid of Baal worship there in the northern kingdom. Unfortunately, they didn't get rid of all idol worship, and that's one of the problems that God had with them. The other thing that we have to remember here is that Jeroboam II is the king that actually overthrew the king of Judah. He went down and attacked him after he had been threatened by him. So we know that he was also a strategic leader. He was a strategic thinker. He was a good leader as far as leading troops in battle go. But we also know that that's not the only leadership trait that we need as leaders. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we're able to follow the successful things that the people before us had done. Now, before we've looked at the negative things, and it's very easy to do that here, especially in the northern kingdom of Israel. But what we want to do is we want to take a look and see what are the good things that he did. And the good things are that they went ahead and they surrounded themselves with good leaders. We can also see that for the past 3 kings of Israel, they also sought the Lord. And we can see that Jeroboam II also sought the Lord. Although he worshipped idols, he still considered the Lord as someone to be considered. So he talked to prophets, he talked to those people that could help make him successful. We want to make sure that we're doing the exact same thing as leaders. We can also see that Jeroboam II was able to go out and be successful in recovering a lot of the territory and the things that his father and his grandfather had lost because of poor decisions. Let's take a look at 2 Kings 14, 25 and 26. It says, Jeroboam II recovered the territories of Israel between Lebo Hamath and the Dead Sea, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had promised through Jonah, son of Amittai, the prophet from Gath, helper. For the Lord saw the bitter suffering of everyone in Israel, and that there was no one in Israel, slave or free, to help them. So the Lord saw their suffering, and he wanted to make sure that there was somebody there to take care of them. The only person available was Jeroboam II. We want to make sure that we as leaders are making ourselves available to be able to be used by those above us. If our superiors know that we have to accomplish a task, that they need something done done right the first time, we want to make sure that we're the leaders that they select to do that. And the way that we can do that is we can succeed as leaders in the situations that they put us in, regardless of how big or how small they are. When I was a private in the Army, they put me in charge of grass cutting details. By the time that I retired from the Army, I was a first sergeant in charge of 120 people. So we can see that if we take the leadership opportunities that we have as subordinates, then we're able to start working that up towards becoming greater leaders as we go along. Now we also see this promise from the Lord. This is 2 Kings 14:27. And it says, and because the Lord had not said he would blot out the name of Israel completely, he used Jeroboam II, son of Joash, to save them. He used Joash because he demonstrated the skills that were necessary for him to succeed as a leader. We want to make sure that we do the same things as well. So let's take a look. Although we don't have a lot of things to be able to look at as far as Jeroboam II goes, we can look at his successes as a leader. And we can see that he was successful in the different practices that both his father and his grandfather had. In fact, they went back and they went to different people. They valued wise advice, and they went to the right people for advice. We can also see that he was successful in organizing armies. That means that he was able to think strategically about where he needed to go and what he wanted to accomplish with these armies. He's able to go out and train them, prepare them, and he never got into a battle that he knew he couldn't win. The third thing was that he made himself available to be used by the Lord. We want to make sure that we make ourselves available for our superiors so that they can use us in the task to build up and support the organization. Not only does this look good for us, but it also helps us to recognize the fact that if I can take the subordinates with me in this cause, then the entire organization is going to be successful, not just because of me, but because of the organization itself. Now, he did have some failures. The first one is that he failed to reform the things in Israel. Now, he never turned away from idol worship. He had other things that were more important to him than God. And we can find that in our own lives, whether you're a religious person or not. What do you have as the most important thing in your life? If you can identify what that is, that's exactly what it is that you're going to serve. If it's God, then you're going to be able to serve God. But if you have other things that are just as important to you, that boat on the weekends, that beautiful house, the spouse that you have, the children that you have, your job, there are several different things that we can see here. We want to identify and put those things into the right order of what we know is most important to us. Make that list. I bet it'll make a huge difference in your life. The other thing is that he never changed the direction of the kingdom. Our organization can be on a pathway or a highway to hell, so to speak, and we never turn away from that. We're driving right towards the cliff and we put our foot on the gas rather than the brake. What are we doing as leaders to make sure that we are turning away from those negative things in our lives? So what we want to do is we want to ask ourselves a couple of different questions. Now, these two questions are actually going to help us out as leaders, and I encourage you to write them down. And in fact, you can look down in the notes below and download a copy of these questions and use these within your organization, develop your leaders, develop your own leadership skills as well. So the first question that we have is, what are the most successful things that leaders before you did? We want to identify these successful things that they did. Not necessarily the negative things, but find out and pursue what those positive things are. Because if you can identify those things and emulate those, then you know that you can be successful. But writing them down, now you can use those as goals or different things to develop your skills and your attributes as a leader. The second question that I want to ask you is how do you know when you're on the right track as a leader? How do you know when you're going in the right direction? What is it that gives you that perfect vision and keeps you going instead of one step at a time? We want to identify that distant target so that we can move towards that with purpose. And if we're able to do that, then we know that we can be successful as leaders. So I hope that you're able to download a lot of these opportunities. Make sure that you subscribe over here so you don't miss any one of these teaching opportunities. But also, make sure that you use these tools to become the best leader that you can be.